Ooh, welcome in to the PHNX Daily Bet Show. I'm your host, JD Buck, joined occasionally on Fridays by the one, the only, Mr. Bob Rock. How are you feeling, Bo?
I was just like the drummer from Def Leppard there. I went one-armed on him.
Yeah, that was really epic. I'm not gonna lie. If you're listening on audio, you gotta check out what Bo just did. If you're wondering why my backdrop looks so sick and fresh and cool, it's because I'm at the BetMGM Sportsbook down here at State Farm Stadium. It's just amazing. The vibes are always immaculate when we're here. I smell beer because the PHNX Coyotes crew is just right here, and I'm getting a little jealous that I wasn't given a beer before the show. But I'm getting handed one right now. This is what happens at BetMGM. That's what happens. You get beer handed to you. It's wonderful.
Is it
welcome in.
3/4 drank beer? Do they?
Yeah,
they top it off usually, right?
That was Sean's doing, and he just took it back to drink it. How's everybody feeling? Crazy morning, and I don't really want to talk about any of the Pac-12 stuff. That's why we're talking about NFC North football. Woo!
What a pivot.
Yeah, a great pivot. Do you like this division, Bo?
I'm pretty indifferent on this. This division doesn't do a whole lot for me. It's very vanilla. There's not a whole lot to it. I mean, when Kirk Cousins could potentially be the king of the North, it's probably that's bad. That's bad for the brand.
Is it? I feel like Kirk Cousins is. No, you're right. I can't even think of anything. I can't. Yeah, there are two tiers to this division. I feel like the Lions, and it's so weird now that this is the tiers, but the Lions and the Vikings are in one tier, and it feels like the Bears and the Packers are in another tier, and we'll get into all of those teams and what their over-unders are for the season and such. But do you see any of these teams being Super Bowl contenders this year, Bo?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Kirk Cousins, he just has that ceiling, right? He just hasn't broken through. I don't know if he will.
The shell of mediocrity.
Yeah, I mean, that's just – and then the affinity for just curling up into a ball on prime time and when games actually mean something. But, I do think that there's a certain amount of disrespect going for the Minnesota Vikings as well when I look at the numbers and I look at the odds. I mean, the team won 13 games last year, and Kirk Cousins has been a pretty good quarterback. But when the lights get a little bit brighter, that's when he folds like a lawn chair.
Yeah. Have you been watching quarterback at all?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's interesting.
He's an interesting cat.
I tuned in to see the Mahomes dynamic, and I left saying, "What about Kirk Cousins?"
Yeah,
that's a little interesting.
Yeah, he's tough, man. Being a quarterback in the NFL just sucks. It does not look very fun. It looks like it hurts a lot. What do you think about their offseason, the Vikings? We'll start with them.
I mean, you would have liked to see a little bit more done on the defensive side of the football, but they lose kind of the guy that was their safety valve in a sense, like Dalvin Cook. They just part ways, right?
And then Thielen, who is also kind of a safety valve as well.
Thielen, Father Time he's there. He's getting Adam Thielen. But then Addison, if he can, Jordan Addison from USC has shown he could be one of the bigger, better draft picks from the 2023 draft. I mean, I like what I've seen as long as he can keep himself on the playing field without boneheaded mistakes, like driving 140 miles per hour in a rocket ship. I can only assume there's no car that goes 140. But
So obviously you mentioned Dalvin Cook. They lose some corner depth. None of them I really liked anyway. Cam Dantzler, Patrick Peterson.
He already got released from Buffalo.
Really?
Dantzler, he didn't even make it through training camp. And then Patrick Peterson's fine, but you bring in Byron Murphy. It's they're kind of interchangeable. They're not great, but they're good. Yeah.
Zadarius Smith hurts, and then I love Irv Smith if he could just stay healthy, but he just never could in Minnesota. And then you mentioned their draft pick Jordan Addison, who I think is going to be a really, really good addition to this offense. I think it's going to take a little pressure off Justin Jefferson. As you said, Thielen wasn't really that separator near the end of his time in Minnesota, so that definitely helps. And then, just some other additions, as you mentioned, Byron Murphy, Troy Reader, and some depth pieces. I think their defense is a little bit better than last year's. I think they should do better. And I'm glad they got a couple guys signed and extended. So not really much to report. Vanilla team, vanilla offseason.
Well,
They'll probably win
like,
11 games.
can I say this? I mean, another year of TJ Hawkinson. I think he kind of
Yes.
he gets more up to speed. And then, yeah, I mean, I agree with the comment just before. Like, Jettas is Jettas, and then Addison could be a good number 2, and then you've got a really rock solid 3 in KJ Osborne.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to the Bears. Mr. Justin Fields. Is he gonna take that next step this year?
I'm skeptical. I really am. Like, I think he can be exactly who he was last year
By taking a lot of steps running.
Yeah, absolutely. 1,100 yards on the ground steps. But can he put it together passing the football? It helps getting DJ Moore, but I'm a little skeptical that he can put it together and be the passer that they need him to be to make this monumental jump from a team that was picking first in the draft. They were the worst record in the NFL. And they've got a long way to go. They made a lot of offseason additions. They couldn't even spend all their cap space. They just added a guy who gets 8 sacks a season and Yannick Ngakoue. But Justin Fields, I mean, that team's going to go as their quarterback play goes. And I'm going to just reserve judgment until I really see it happen.
Yeah, they replaced as much as you can replace Roquan Smith with Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. You bring in Deontay Foreman for David Montgomery loss. You know, I do like Khalil Herbert and their running back room's fine, but I think a lot of their dynamicism on offense comes from what Justin Fields can do on the ground. They bring in Big Bob Tunyon, who is interesting, but I think their biggest splash was obviously in the draft, finally getting a tackle for the future in Darnell Wright and some depth on the defensive side of the ball as well. I just don't think it's going to be enough to move the needle this year. And as you said, the only way they take a big step forward is if Justin Fields can really stop becoming. I mean, he showed signs of it, but try to be less one-dimensional as he was last year.
Right, and that wear and tear, it proved to be costly. Like, can he get through the marathon of a season running as much as he can? I mean, it's proven to take him wear down a guy like Lamar Jackson who can't stay in the lineup for a full season. Is that going to be the same future for Justin Fields if he doesn't start, staying in the pocket more?
Yep. All right, move on to the Packers. Is this the weirdest team in the NFL this year?
I haven't heard a single thing about the Packers all off season long. Outside of of course the obvious. They trade Aaron Rodgers and they did good. He wasn't coming back and they were able to get a bunch of picks from the Jets, but still haven't heard anything about Jordan Love. I haven't heard anything about the young receivers and Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs and there's no hype behind this team whatsoever, which is concerning.
They lost their Aaron Rodgers pass catchers, their Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, and Mercedes Lewis. And it's just as old as time. And they didn't really bring anybody to replace them. They did draft a couple guys, but other than that, I mean, Luke Musgrave and Jaden Reed aren't going to move the needle for me. And
Right.
Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson, I just have not seen enough of. So we'll see where that goes. But their big swing in the draft was Lucas Van Ness. Did you like him coming out of Iowa?
I did. Yeah, he's fine, right? I looked at him a little bit as defensive rookie of the year odds, which could be sneaky, but is he going to be an every down guy or is he going to be maybe 2-1 down? I don't know. I just don't know where he fits immediately. He does kind of fit what they like to do, but does that translate year one results? Probably not. It is so weird that the Packers are so under the radar.
I know. I'm such a fan of all of these guys on the defensive side of the ball individually. I love Kenny Clark. I love Preston Smith. I love Devondre Campbell. I love Quay Walker. I love Rashawn Gary.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't do anything. They don't do anything together.
Let's call them. Is it just stale cheese or lukewarm cheese?
Yeah. It's definitely curdling. And you think they hit on the defensive rookies with Rasul Douglas and Eric Stokes, and then they're good one year, and then they suck their second year. It's
right.
Bizarre. And so this defense is going to be where this team can win or lose games. Their offense is going to be meh. I don't think anybody's expecting it to be good by any means, but yeah, they're definitely going to have to win games with their defense this year, I think. All right, let's talk about the darling of the NFL. Sad that Johnny Venerable's not here to talk about his favorite man Campbell. What are your predictions for the Lions?
I mean, it was a phenomenal story at the end of last year. It's an easy team to root for. I hate how they built their team this offseason.
Really?
I mean, hated it with the fire of 1,000 suns.
Why?
I mean, you're willing to take Jahmyr Gibbs 6th. You end up
Yeah.
taking him 12th, a little bit better. Then you take Jack Campbell 18th. So you go running back, off-ball linebacker in your first round pick, and then it gets better in the second round. I love the kid from Alabama, kind of the Swiss Army knife safety. He can move up in the box a little bit. What's his name?
Sorry, who?
The kid from Bama.
Oh, Brian Branch.
Brian Branch. He seems like he's going to be a good player and just add to that defense. But they also did some pretty good drafting beforehand that they can probably lean on, where they built the offensive line. Jared Goff is fine. Can he repeat last year? I'm a little skeptical. Can he put together like back-to-back rock-solid seasons? I don't know. Like, I'm not about to jump on the hype train, and I'm really also curious to see like how Campbell, how he's going to, like, what the roles are going to be from the running backs they had last year, what the new guys are going to be like. What's Jahmyr Gibbs? Is he going to be DeAndre Swift, or is he going to be Jamal Williams' role, or is
Jahmyr Gibbs likes to run north and south. That's all he.
Right.
He loves to do that. He doesn't do this shit that DeAndre Swift does, where he just kind of
so
skips
he's
around
Jamal
the field.
Williams? Like, then I'm intrigued, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to see it in action. I don't know. I am not I think I saw their number for win total, and that could be a big time sweat.
Yeah, they're over 100 odds distance favorites from what the Vikings are. I think they're plus 135 at BetMGM right now to win the division.
Win the division, right?
Yeah, and I'm just not buying it. But yeah, I agree. I didn't like their draft, but I did like their offseason as a whole. Some of the additions they had. You lose Jamal Williams, but you bring in David Montgomery, who I think is fine for the value. Luckily, C.J. Gardner-Johnson looks to be okay after the leg injury, and they avoided that, and that was a big addition at safety. They bring Marvin Jones back. They bring Jermaine Irfetti in, so they get some depth on the offensive line. They didn't really lose any big players either. So they traded Jeff Okudah, who now got hurt today and got carted off the field. So hopefully he's okay. But nothing really.
Have any corners?
Major, yeah. Their corners are. Man, they signed Emmanuel Mosley in the offseason, so that's something. But enough of talk about addition and subtraction. Let's just talk about addition into your wallet with BetMGM. Guys, there's some baseball going on right now behind me. And you know my favorite thing to bet on in baseball is?
Outs made by starting pitchers?
No, that's probably one of my least favorite things because they can get shelled and still stay in the game. My favorite thing to bet on is a Nerfy or a Yurfy. I have been dipping into the Nursey, the no-run second inning, but we're going to stick with the Nerfy, the no-run first inning. Guys, if you haven't done it yet, do this. It is very fun. All you got to do if you already signed up, opt into the promotion, the Nerfy promotion they have. Place a no-run first inning bet on any MLB game. Bet no on the will there be a run in the first inning market. If your bet loses, but only one run is scored during the first inning, you'll receive a bonus bet back, equaling your stake up to $25. It's only available on Fridays, the Nerfy Fridays, which is today. So go ahead and do that at BetMGM. Those pesky, bloop singles when there's 2 outs in the bottom of the first really get you. But the BetMGM Sportsbook has your back. And if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use that bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers. Depending on where you live before our Arizona audience, place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to me talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 Nevada. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
Let's talk about the odds. I really like this division from a betting standpoint. I think that some of it feels a little too easy, but their player props especially. So we'll get into the player props a little bit later. But, Bo, we'll start with you. What do you like in terms of the forecast?
All right. So I'm lockstep with you, plus 135 for the Lions to win the division. I'm going with more value there. Give me the Minnesota Vikings. Won 13 games last year. Sure, they were a bit fraudulent, okay? Maybe a bit fraudulent, but plus 280, I'll take those. That's making some money there. Minnesota Vikings, I'll take the over on their win total too, 8.5. I think that I mean, especially playing games within the division. You've got about 4 games that I think are extremely winnable against the bottom half of the NFC North and the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. That only gets you 140. And then let's take the odds up a notch. Let's go with Vikings 1, Lions 2, the exact forecast for plus 600. I think that's going to help build a really good 2023 stack after it's all said and done.
Yeah, I really love those odds for that. It just seems like, look, I like the Vikings to win the division, but the Lions, I think, are definitely in it. You can do a dual forecast for less odds, but the exact forecast at plus 600 is very, very juicy. I'm in the same boat as you with that as well, so we'll go ahead and look at mine. Plus 600, that exact forecast is too tempting to pass up. But how about this one? This is a little bit of a Johnny bet. And normally I don't do anything with this much juice on the show because anybody can throw out a little stinker like this. Packers to make the playoffs, no, at minus 200. This is a season-long bet, so it's like an investment. You throw $20, you're going to get $10 back. So you win 30, or you get 30 back total at the end of the year. I just don't see them making the playoffs, and this isn't a short enough odd for me to not bet it. So I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
No Packers to make the playoffs. And then the Bears, 7.5 wins at plus money. I'm taking the under. That just seems way too high. Way too high. For a team that should still be in the conversation to finish last in the NFL. If I'm going to be honest, if anything happens to their scrambling quarterback, God forbid, they could be hurt. And even if nothing happens there, their defense just hasn't proven enough to me. Their offense is, having the star of training camp right now is Chase Claypool. When have I heard that before? Like he doesn't move the needle. So give me the Bears under 7.5 wins at plus 105 at BetMGM.
So you're going with like the Kyle Davies fastball at the top of that. You're taking the minus 200, and that's a hit, right? That should be a hit right down the middle, and just serve it in the center for on base.
You got a couple props for me, Bo, in the NFC North?
Yeah, there was so many I had to sift through them, but I saw this one at plus 1,300. Justin Jefferson, most NFL receiving touchdowns in 2023. I think that's an extreme amount of value that I'm going to make that bet immediately. And then another wide receiver, one of the up-and-comers in the division. I'm not going to poo-poo the Lions so much that I don't like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm going to take his over on receiving yards on the season, 949.5. He's going to eclipse 1,000 yards receiving easily. It's minus 110, but I really love the Jettas, most receiving touchdowns in the NFL at plus 1,300. I think that's a really good chance of happening.
You going to dip into any Equinemius St. Brown props, Bo?
Where is he now? Is he still in Green Bay?
I think he was on the Bears last I checked.
Oh, okay.
This is hard to spell.
Inferior St. Brown.
Equinemius St. Brown is on the Bears.
Staying within the division.
Staying within the division. I'm staying within the... I don't know where I was going. Justin Jefferson, Offensive Player of the Year. Same odds as most receiving touchdowns. I think both of these could hit. He won it last year, and I think he's better than ever. Stay healthy, he wins this. Jamar Chase is the favorite now. They were about even odds at plus 1,200. Jamar Chase is taking the favorite, which I don't mind, but at the same time, Justin Jefferson's is a year farther into his career. He's a freak. He's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time, I think, if he can stay healthy. So give me his Offensive Player of the Year odds at plus 1,300. I got this at plus 1,300. Last time I was at BetMGM, actually. I got a free bet, so I placed $50 on it. So I'm hoping for that to pay off. Speaking of payoff, Jared Goff's going to pay off the haters with the over on his passing yards. He had like 4,200 or something last year. This is just disrespectful. Give me his over on passing yards at 38.99.5 at BetMGM at about even odds. And then Justin Fields had over a K rushing yards last year. Stay healthy. This hits easily. Death taxes, Justin Fields over rushing yards. I don't know what his total is in the first game, but I'm going to hammer it. It's one of my favorite things to do last year. Just seeing him scoot, seeing him hit a hole and just go is one of the most fun things. He is so fast, so quick. Even if the team wins only 3 games this year, he's going to have over 850 rushing yards in this division, no doubt about it.
He had 1,115 games, so he missed 2 games and he still had 1,100. It's insane.
Crazy.
Just what he puts up on the ground.
Crazy. Bo, anything else before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'm still kind of shocked how very little we talk about the Green Bay Packers. One of it's It's an historic franchise that is getting like Cardinals like run. It's
I
unreal.
mean, we talked about Equinemius. He was on the Packers
Yeah,
at one point.
we did.
So
We did.
there you go. RIP the Pack, and there's only one set here at BetMGM, but we'll kick somebody off if something happens, if some news breaks. I'm expecting something to break here in the next couple hours. So keep it locked in. We will be live at 2 p.m. If nothing does break, PHNX Sun Devils. But TVSP live right after this, right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane D. If you can follow Bo on Twitter.
What about PHNX Cardinals 4:30 from BetMGM?
Well, I mean, that's a given. That's duh. Obviously, I thought everybody knew that. If you didn't know, PHNX Cardinals live at 4:30 from BetMGM. Johnny's going to be making an appearance here.
That's right. We're both going to be live and in person at BetMGM Sportsbook. Johnny has already told me.
If you ever wanted to see the definition on Johnny's muscles live in person, come to BetMGM.
And if you ever want to watch a sad man eat his own just pile of nachos on his own without any bros, watch Johnny Venerable eat the delicious nachos they have on the menu there.
Why is he doing that?
He's selfish, not a team player.
I might hit him when he comes here. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane D. You can follow Bo on Twitter at Bo Brock. You can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_bets. We're live every Monday through Friday at noonish right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. But every single Friday until the NFL regular season kicks off, me and Bo will be bringing you some sweet, sweet futures on NFL divisions, doing division previews. But until next week, we will see you on Monday at noon. I will not be here because I will be in Universal Studios living it up. But until then, peace, love, and RIP the Pac-12.